Burns and the Minnesota Vikings have yet to solve the championship puzzle. And some may say that the Vikings have mortgaged their future on Herschel Walker. But in Minnesota, the future is now. And suddenly, a once troubled Viking team hopes they have acquired the final piece to the puzzle. The Detroit Lions have put together an assembly line of young talent. And last Sunday in Tampa Bay, they manufactured their first win.
29 seconds to go. Rodney Peete steps to his left, rolls to his right. He's got real estate. He's to the 5. He's to the corner. Touchdown!
And now, with the taste of victory still fresh, the Lions are looking to restore the roar. Two weeks ago, these young Lions gave the Vikings a run for their money. And now, with a healthy Rodney Peete, Detroit looks to stall Minnesota's title run. And welcome to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan for a Central Division battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. The Vikings and Bears tied for first in the Central Division, where a spirited race is shaping up, and the Lions may be in last place, but they're coming off their first win of the season and feeling good about themselves. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, along with my partner, Dan Faust, and of course, they are positively euphoric in Minnesota after what Herschel Walker has done since he arrived there. And of course, he is going to make his first start officially today, and people are wondering what he can do for an encore, Dan.
Well, it should be just as good as last week against Green Bay, but more important than what he's done on the field for this Viking team, it's what he's done off the field. He's taken a team that has been the team turmoil for this season and really focused them on football, and that's good news for Viking fans.
Good news for Lions fans as well, because for the first time, their two great rookies, Rodney Peete, the quarterback, and Barry Sanders, the running back, are healthy and going to play today. What kind of impact would they have?
Well, Rodney Peete's really looking forward to it. He told me yesterday that ever since the day the two of them were drafted, that this was the moment he was waiting for, to see the excitement of his talents and Barry Sanders. But Wayne Fonts told us yesterday that the Lions must do two things to win this ball game today. Number one, cut out those terrible turnovers they've had on offense. And number two, on defense, make the Vikings drive 80 yards. Don't give up the big play to Carter, to Walker, or to Jordan.
And they do have a lot of threats there. The Vikings have lost 4 straight on the road. Their last time they won was here at the Silverdome a year ago. Rich Karlis will be kicking off for Minnesota as the Lions have won the toss. They have 3 men deep, including Barry Sanders, who used to return kicks at Oklahoma State. He's flanked by Carl Painter and Walter Stanley. We're underway in Detroit, and a short kick heading over towards Stanley. On the 10. And great special teams hustle that time by Brent Novoselsky will give the Lions terrible field position. And Rodney Peete, the 6th-round draft pick, who last week ran for the winning touchdown in an impressive effort for the Lions, will have an offensive line of Lomas Brown, Eric Andolsek, Kevin Glover, Ken Dallafor, and Harvey Salem. Barry Sanders, the running back, and the 4 wide receivers in the silver stretch, Robert Clark, Richard Johnson, Stacy Mobley, and Walter Stanley. Tony Page is in an I formation lineup for the Lions, with Page the F-back. Barry Sanders brings it out to the 9-yard line. Gave him about 4 with Thomas and Audrey McMillan. The usual impressive Minnesota defensive line, Al Noga, Henry Thomas, Keith Millard, and Chris Dolman. But they'll use only 2 linebackers against the silver stretch, Mike Merriweather and Scott Studwell. 4 cornerbacks, the regulars Carl Lee and Reggie Rutland. The nickelbacks Darrell Smith and Audrey McMillan. Joey Browner is the lone safety in that alignment. 2nd down and 6. Now they have just 1 back. Peete is sacked. That was Al Noga. They all talk about Millard and Dolman and the rest, and Noga gets the sack there.
Well, when you have two very quick ends like Noga and Dolman, one guy's going to force the quarterback over to the other guy, and that's what happens in this case. Good pressure up front there as Noga just fights off Harry Salem. Pete does the right thing of stepping up into the pocket, but the pocket's too small.
It'll be 3rd down and 8. The ball at the 7. 4 wide receivers in the silver stretch. In motion, Richard Johnson. And a penalty marker goes down. And the penalty will be against the Lions. Half the distance. Pat Haggerty is our official today, and headaches off the top for Wayne Fonts.
Oh, one of those headaches is penalties. The penalties.
Number 65, still 3rd down.
They had 13 penalties in the first game against the Vikings, the Lions did, and this has been a problem for the Lions all year long. 52 penalties in just 6 games.
Only the Oilers have more. Eric Andelsick, the guilty party, the left guard. That'll bring up 3rd down and 11. In his own end zone, Pete completes it to Johnson. Johnson fights his way out to about the 6-yard line, where Al Noga, who already has a sack, makes the tackle that time. It'll be 4th down, and the Lions will have to kick Jim Arnold deep into his own end zone.
Special teams have already played a big part in this game. The great coverage by the Viking kickoff coverage team pinned the Lions offense back, and they could never get anything started.
Arnold doesn't have much room back there. He's leading the NFL in punting. Leo Lewis goes deep, and he's practically at midfield for the Vikings. Fine kick by Arnold, as good as you'll ever see. Lewis on his own 35. Brings it up to the 44. A 59-yard kick by Jim Arnold. But now the Vikings have the ball for the first time, and Tommy Kramer will lead them out. Those are his numbers this year. The rest of his offensive unit, first the line, healthy for the first time. Gary Zimmerman, Randall McDaniel, Loudermilk, Kalis, Irwin, and Jordan, the tight end. And we'll give you the Minnesota offense after this play. 1st and 10 on the 45. Play action. Kramer going deep for Hassan Jones. And it's broken up by Benny Blade and William White, the safety.
One thing you're not going to get against the Detroit Lion defense is a long pass. They play a very conservative zone defense. Vikings went with a smart play call that time, faking the ball up in the middle to Herschel Walker on the play action pass, trying to get Jones down over the middle, but Benny Blades was right there.
Vikings don't feel they can run very much against the Lions. They've stopped just about everyone and may have to rely on the pass. 2 tight ends on 2nd and 10. Herschel Walker. Just shy of midfield, Chris Spielman and Victor Jones, a couple of inside linebackers, make the stop for the Lions. The Detroit defense, very tough against the run. Eric Williams, Jerry Ball having a terrific year at nose tackle, and Kevin Brooks. Jimmy Williams, Chris Spielman, Victor Jones, and George Jamison, who's starting in place of Michael Kofer at linebacker. Terry Taylor and Terry Holmes are the cornerbacks. William White and Benny Blades, we've seen them in action already, the safeties, with Crockett and Griffin in nickel situations. It'll be 3rd down and 5 at midfield for the Vikings. Jim Gustafson is in as a 3rd wide receiver. Carter is at the top of your screen. Pass complete to Gustafson, and a Viking first down on the Lion 40. Benny Blades on the stop, a gain of 10.
Gustafson is in motion here, and he's going to be working against Benny Blades, number 36. Gustafson is number 80, and he's going to run a pattern that down across the middle and then back out. A nice individual cut, and you saw the protection that Kramer had, and it's a first down for the Vikings.
There's Gustafson. who came into the game with 5 receptions on the year. You wonder if the Lions can handle Minnesota's passing attack. First down on the Detroit 40. There's a pass to Carter, a bit high, and he paid for it. Terry Taylor was covering. Boy, receivers hate that high throw, don't they, on a slant in?
Well, they really do, and when Tommy Kramer misses, he usually misses high, and Anthony Carter may not recover from this shot, at least today. Take a look at it from the end zone, and the guy that comes in with the big hit is Chris Spielman. It may be even a little bit late. Here's the high throw from Kramer, the first hit from Blades, and then Spielman just finishes him off, and there goes the helmet.
The helmet went 23 yards downfield, if you're measuring.
There's the big hit from Blades, and then Spielman just, I'm not sure how to describe that.
That's got to be the scariest play for any wide receiver. And Carter is really stung by it. Keep in mind, he has been bothered by a hamstring pull all season and has never been 100%.
Well, they talk about receivers hearing footsteps. Well, Anthony Carter is hearing bells right now. And he's wondering who's going to answer that phone.
He started at the University of Michigan, not far from here at Ann Arbor. This is not a great welcome back.
Well, you know, Chris Spielman's an old Buckeye. No love lost there between the Ohio State and Michigan, that's for sure.
Chris Spielman, who is making his presence felt as an impact linebacker for the Lions so far this season.
Well, he certainly did there.
Gustafson replaces Carter in the lineup. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Vikings. Alfred Anderson gets 2 yards. Spielman again on the tackle. Anderson and Rick Fenny will be alternated at fullback, bringing in the plays today for the Vikings.
Well, check out Spielman. Last week he had 14 tackles against Tampa Bay. Already has had the hit of the game so far on Anthony Carter, and this is what he does best, plugging up those holes and stopping the backs for little gain.
Little perturbed with Woody Wittenhofer this week with a comment Woody made.
Well, Woody said that he hadn't played that well last year, but that he's playing more under control this year. And he compared him to Jack Lambert. Now, if I was Spielman, I'd take that as a great compliment.
So would I.
And I think he did, after he understood what the comments were all about.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Wide open is Anderson. He'll have a first down for Minnesota. No one in the middle, and Alfred Anderson picks up 10 yards inside the Lion 30, where Ray Crockett, the nickel defensive back, makes the tackle.
It'll be interesting to see what type of adjustment that Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, makes if Anthony Carter cannot continue today. That time he brought in an extra back, DJ Dozier, and played him as a wide receiver. One thing for sure, Schnelker will let you know exactly how he feels at all times on that sideline.
An opinionated guy, huh?
Yeah, and he is very excited, though, about the acquisition of Herschel Walker. Gives him a lot more tools to go with that offense. It's very explosive without him.
On first down, here's Walker. Lions read that play perfectly, and Walker gained maybe a yard, if that much. And again, Chris Spielman and Victor Jones in on the play.
Let's check it out from the pin here, because this is Jerry Ball working on Loudermilk, number 93 right in the middle. But this isn't really Herschel's strong point, running wide from split back formation. He likes to carry the ball from the I formation, get back deep in the backfield, 7-8 yards, so he can hit that line of scrimmage going forward with a lot of momentum.
2nd down and 10 on the Lion 28. The Vikings are going to call a timeout. They've been using 2 tight ends, by the way, with Novoselsky joining Jordan. So Minnesota calling its first timeout of the first half. There's Jerry Burns. Saw his team make up the distance in a hurry and tie Chicago coming into the 7th week. For the Vikings, Anthony Carter is back in the starting lineup. So that'll relieve some of the problems in the wide receiver area for Bob Schnelker. Carter was hit hard on a slant and high pass and missed a couple of plays.
It'll be interesting to see if the Vikings call any passes to Carter over the middle, and what happens if the ball is thrown to him, because he'll be tested again.
2nd was going for Carter, but the pass was way behind him, and that'll bring up third down.
Actually, I believe that Tommy was just throwing that ball away. Carter was well covered by Terry Taylor, as was Steve Jordan, who was in a shorter zone, and it appeared to me that Tommy just let it fly over Jordan's head for the incompletion. One thing he doesn't want to do is take a sack here and take his team out of field goal range. Carlos doesn't have the strongest of legs, so every yard is important right now for the Vikings.
3 wide receivers, and Detroit has 6 defensive backs. That's the drive thus far. Herschel Walker, as a receiver for the first time today, makes the grab, but he doesn't get enough for the first down. Ray Crockett makes the tackle, but the Vikings are in field goal range for sure.
Well, we talked about how deep all the Vikings are. Here are the 2 safeties, and then watch everybody drop off into their zones. Walker's going to come out of the backfield and catch a short pass, and the Lions will hold him before he gets to the first down. Good coverage by the Lions, and Walker is gang tackled.
For Jerry Burns, he's looking for the lead, and Rich Carlos has struggled. His longest field goal has been from 28 yards. This will be a 40-yard attempt. Bucky Scribner holding. The kick is good. So the Vikings, who have been struggling in every kicking area, score first on a 40-yard field goal by Rich Carlos. It's the Vikings 3 and the Lions nothing. The second time in less than a month, we have seen the devastation and loss brought on by a natural disaster. This week, our hearts go out to the people of Northern California. We have watched and shared in your ordeal, and we know that a staggering amount of work lies ahead in order to restore life to normal. Fortunately, many fine agencies are actively providing relief assistance. Should you care to help, we may suggest that you check your local newspapers for the appropriate support agency in your area. 7 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Vikings on a Rich Carlos field goal lead the Lions. Carlos getting set to kick off. The man in the middle is Barry Sanders. Returning kicks for the first time this year. Again off to the right, and it's going to be Sanders at the 4. Penalty markers fly all over the place as Sanders finally goes out of bounds a yard short of midfield, and it was Rich Carlos who drove him there. But there are penalties down, and you know what the normal penalty is on kickoffs.
Some type of illegal block. This is very reminiscent of what happened to the Vikings last week against the Packers when Herschel Walker returned the first kickoff 50-some-odd yards, only to have it brought back. But it's still electrified that crowd at the Metrodome. The Silverdome crowd's on fire right now.
Well, Bob Schnelker said even though that kick by Walker last week was brought back because of penalties, that really sparked the whole team on the sidelines. They got all excited. Let's see.
We have tripping on the return and a hold on the return.
Well, they were trying, weren't they? There's probably no more exciting play in all of football than a good kickoff return. It has a way of grabbing everybody in such a long way to
51,
go.
holding 50, first down.
Nico Noga with a first and Toby Caston with the second. A 45-yard scintillating kickoff return by Barry Sanders is nullified, and so the Lions will start from their 12. Pete swings it out and overthrows the intended receiver, Keith McDonald. Right now for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Well, Dick, Miami and Dan Marino strike first against the Packers of Green Bay. This is Marino's 9th touchdown pass of the year. He also has served up 11 interceptions. Jensen with 3 TDs on the year, 7 zip Dolphins. Back to Dick.
All right, Brent, thank you. So Dolphins, after beating the Browns and the Bengals, lead the Packers, who are only a game behind the Bears and the Vikings in the Central.
Yeah, but the Packers don't get started in the second half anyway, right?
That's right.
Not to worry.
Second down and 10. Sanders. Gets to the 15 where he's hung up by Scott Studwell. How potent is the run and shoot, and called the silver stretch here in Detroit? The Lions really haven't unraveled it yet because they don't have their people. But
I'm not sure what they call it at the University of Houston. But look at this score last night, 95-21. But the important thing for SMU is that they won the time of possession battle there.
A moral victory. Can you imagine over 1,000 yards?
I feel like Forrest Drake feels. I want to know who's responsible for this score.
Let me think. 3rd down and 7 on the 15 for Detroit. Rodney Peete on the run has Richard Johnson. And the Lions have a 1st down as Carl Lee makes the play on Johnson just beyond the 17-yard line.
Smile from Rodney Peete. He knows that he's throwing the ball just a little bit high, and you can't afford to throw it high to some of these receivers. Richard Johnson's only 5'6", and he had to stretch all the way out to make that grab, but he did pick up the 1st down.
3rd appearance of the year for Rodney Peete. Came in as a 6th-round draft pick.
Yeah, and he's the starting quarterback, and he felt coming into training camp he had a shot at being that starting quarterback. Now he's looking at the owner's box and saying, hey, how about making that contract right?
Probably will.
Oh, they should. That's the way it works. You earn it.
On the 24, 1st down. Johnson was the intended receiver. He was covered by Carl Lee. 6:06 remaining in the 1st quarter. 3-0 Minnesota. Good pressure that time by Chris Dolman as we bring you up to date on the score.
And again, young quarterbacks, when they get a little bit edgy to start a ball game, they tend to throw high. And we've seen that a couple of times with Peete. That time, Richard Johnson tried to make a one-handed grab with his left hand. The problem is he has a very sore thumb on that left hand. And in fact, in practice yesterday, was wearing one glove. But today, he's just got it taped up, as you can see, that left knuckle on that left thumb.
3 wide receivers lined up to the right, and Rodney Peete will call a timeout. So in this 1st quarter, each team has used up a timeout. Peete is not exactly 100% healthy himself. He's wearing a knee brace and has also had a groin pull. This is the healthiest he's been, however. Stockton and Dan Fouts back at the Silverdome, crowd of about 45,000 here, well below the 80,000 capacity. Waiting for the Lions to do some business. Come out 2nd down and 10 on their 24-yard line. 3-0 Minnesota. Keith Millard jumped. I don't believe he was drawn offside.
Encroachment. Defense.
Well, he's one of the quickest guys off the ball in the league, and sometimes he guesses, sometimes he guesses wrong. I think he guessed wrong there.
Well, you know, he must be disturbed. He hasn't had a sack, and we have 6 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. He leads the league.
He had 4 last time they played these fellas, plus an interception for a long return that Barry Sanders made a tackle on.
2nd down and 5.
Millard.
Rodney Peete completes the pass. Walter Stanley, who's been the best Lion receiver, and that should be good enough for a Detroit 1st down. Darrell Smith made the stop.
Well, let's check out Keith Millard. Here he is, number 75. And when you are leading the league in sacks, you often get double teamed, and the Lions are going to make sure they get 2 people on him, although Barry Sanders has to do a better job of protecting the quarterback than he did that time on Keith Millard. Delafour passed him off, and Sanders has to finish him off.
1st down for the Lions on their 38-yard line. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. Barry Sanders looking for an opening. Nearly had one. Scott Studwell on the tackle and a gain of a couple. Sanders, who's going to be used a lot as a receiver, says he'd rather run, which is no surprise, and really getting into the swing of things here in Detroit.
Well, we see that he'd rather run than block, that's for sure. The job he did on Millard there. But You notice how Studwell made the grab just pulling on his jersey there. There was some accusations the last time these two teams met about maybe Sanders having silicone on his pants and on his jersey, made him more slippery. That's just pure talent.
Second down and 5. Rodney Peete in trouble. Chased out of bounds that time by Mike Merriweather. And a loss back to the 42-yard line. It'll be third down.
Now, Merriweather is the first missing link of this year for the Vikings. When they acquired him from the Pittsburgh Steelers, they said, now, this is the missing link. This is the guy that'll bring us to the Super Bowl. Little did he know, and the Viking fans know, that Herschel Walker is really the missing link. But maybe, just maybe, the Vikings have put it all together now.
Well, they needed a link on both sides of the fence. Third down and 6, 3 wide receivers to the left. Rodney Peete had his man, and there's incomplete. Keith McDonald was the intended receiver. And now for a scoring update, let's go back to New York and check in with Brent Musburger. Brent?
Well, Dick, there are a lot of folks that thought that Washington would win easily at home. Tampa Bay making its first appearance there ever. And look at this, a blocked punt. And Reynolds scoops it up. He scored on an interception a week ago, and Ricky Reynolds puts the Bucs ahead. Back to Dick.
A lot of wind knocked out of the Redskins' sails with the loss to New York last week, and Tampa Bay bouncing back from their loss to the Lions. Jim Arnold will punt for Detroit. Leo Lewis is back for the Vikings. And it'll be down right there by Ray Crockett. 4:47 remaining in the first quarter. A defensive battle thus far.
For the week was Rodney Peete.
We're at the Pontiac Silverdome outside of Detroit, about 20 miles away. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts. 4:47 remaining in the first quarter, and the Minnesota Vikings have a 3-0 lead over the Detroit Lions. Herschel Walker now the focus of the Minnesota offense.
Yeah, and we'll see him line up in the tailback formation in the I, and this will be a change for the Vikings as far as their philosophy.
Two tight ends. Walker gets a good hold. Here he comes. And Herschel Walker powers his way into Lion territory. Benny Blades finally brings him down, but not before Herschel picks up 35 yards.
So what we talked about, Herschel Walker in the I formation, hitting the line of scrimmage at full speed. Watch this hole on the left side. Jordan is out blocking on Jamison. It's an influence block. He lets him go for Dozier. And this is where all that speed comes from. If William White didn't have the angle on Herschel, he'd been gone.
Gain of 35. He gained 47 on one play last week. First down. Rick Fenny picks up nearly 4 yards on the play. Chris Spielman makes the stop.
Rick Fenny going out, Alfred Anderson coming in. The two almost identical twins in the Viking backfield. Bob Schnoker feels that there's no drop-off when either guy's in the game. They both block extremely well, and now they've got a real talent to block for.
Out of the I formation again. Second down and 6 on the Lion 40. Here's Walker. And the Lions stop him cold. A loss of a yard, George Jamison. And Chris Spielman strung it out nicely.
Well, that run he had before might have woken up this Detroit defense, because Jamison that time really played off the block from Anderson and made Walker hesitate where the pursuit could catch up to him.
You mentioned he's always liked the I formation, including his beginning of his pro career with the New Jersey Generals of the USFL. 4 wide receivers right to the bottom is Anthony Carter on 3rd and 7. Pressure on Kramer. Rick Fenny out of the backfield as a first down for Minnesota. Eric Williams makes the tackle, and a gain of 17 yards, and the Vikings are threatening.
This is Michael Kofer, number 55. You watch him come in on Kramer. He's unblocked the whole way, but Tommy knows this. He's got his eyes on him the whole way. Fenny should have bumped him just a little bit, but he's out into the screen, and he's underway for a big gain again for the Vikings. This is an impressive drive for Minnesota.
Rick Fenny can block, and we saw he can catch. First down inside the 25 for the Vikings. Here's Herschel Walker, and he's not going to get away this time. He'll lose a yard or more. Terry Taylor was the first to reach him, and then Jimmy Williams helped the cornerback on the tackle.
I don't think the Vikings are going to have a lot of success running the ball up the middle against the middle of the Detroit Lion defense. It's almost like in baseball where you have to have strong defense up the middle. Your pitcher, your shortstop, second baseman, catcher, and center fielder. Well, in football, it's your nose guard, it's your strong safety, and it's your middle linebacker. In this case, they've got three outstanding players there. Jerry Ball, Spielman at middle linebacker, and Benny Blades at strong safety.
Second down and 10. Call it no gain. Kramer swings it out to Herschel Walker again. Same result, no gain. Benny Blades was right in the middle with Jameson.
We'll watch Kramer now dump this ball off to Herschel, maybe just a little bit too soon. Number 83 is Jordan working in the middle, never really given a chance to get into his pattern. And because the Lions were in such a soft, conservative zone, they had a lot of bodies out there waiting for Herschel on the swing pass.
Woody Wittenhopper is the defensive coordinator for a Lion defense that has allowed only one touchdown in the last 8 quarters. 3rd and 11. Kramer has Dozier, and an open field tackle by Benny Blades will bring up 4th down. And the clock will run out. Rich Carlos will come on to try a field goal, but he'll be going the other way when we come back. And that is the end of the first quarter here at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, with the score: the Vikings 3 and the Lions nothing.
Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
Back here at Pontiac, Michigan, at the Silverdome, where the Minnesota Vikings lead 3-0 over the Detroit Lions. It's 4th down and 8, and Rich Carlos will try to give the Vikings a 6-point lead. Carlos was good from 40 yards out the last time and will try another 40-yarder with Bucky Scribner holding. Getting a lot of his confidence back, and it's 6-0 now in favor of Minnesota. I want to remind you that college football action next Saturday resumes when Alabama travels to Penn State to face the Nittany Lions. Big win for the Tide yesterday.
Yeah, that Gary Hollingsworth, their quarterback for the Tide, he looks pretty good out there. 32 completions yesterday. And the thing that I like about him is he's got some real poise there. Stands up in that pocket real well. Doesn't look like one of those Alabama quarterbacks. He looks like, you know, maybe that guy named Namath, huh?
Something like that. Penn State has won 5 in a row. They didn't play yesterday. Blair Thomas had a big game against Syracuse a couple of weeks ago. So next Saturday on CBS Sports at 2:30 Eastern, Alabama, Penn State.
You know Joe Paterno was going to make sure he got an extra week off there to prepare for the Tide.
That's something Jimmy Johnson couldn't do when he came to the NFL.
You got to play every week, Jimmy. No buys in this league.
Carlos will kick off for the Vikings. And again, Barry Sanders goes deep.
Carlos has tried to kick away from Sanders both times. He's only been successful doing it once.
Carl Painter is on the left. Walter Stanley to the right. will start from their 20, which will be their best starting position so far in this game.
That was a wonderful kickoff by Carlos. He had a lot of hang time, and he also put it about 4 yards deep in the end zone. Good decision from Barry Sanders not bringing that one out.
Interesting game thus far in the fact that the Lions have put the clamps on the Vikings when they've had to, despite a couple of good drives by Minnesota.
Well, that's one thing that Wayne Fonte said yesterday, is he wants to see if the Vikings can drive 80 yards and score touchdowns. So far, they haven't been able to do that.
Barry Sanders, the running back. Merriweather wraps him up for no gain. Ball was stripped away, but the whistle had blown, and so Dolman's going to have to bring it back. The Detroit offense, which spreads out the sideline, is very effective for running plays, and that's why their average gain per carry has been impressive.
And teams come in playing the Lions, and you would think because they come in with 4 wide receivers and a very mobile quarterback that they would be worried about the pass, but that's not the way it's been this year. Defensive teams say, hey, number 1, we got to stop number 20, Barry Sanders, and then we'll worry about Pete and those wide receivers.
Who has been ailing, gets a sack, the second of the game for Minnesota. The third of the game.
Okay, Henry Thomas is number 97, and this is just his 4th sack of the year. Now, that's a lot for a lot of guys, but when you put it up in comparison to some of the other guys on that defensive line, it pales in comparison. But Henry Thomas is a real solid player, and because you have stars on that defensive line like Dolman and Millard, Thomas is single blocked most of the day. That time he won the battle.
Vikings have 3 sacks, none yet by Millard. Third down and 18. On the draw play, Barry Sanders loses the ball, and the Vikings recover. Chris Dolman. Now he can squeeze it.
Take a look and see who pops this ball loose from Sanders. It appeared that he was on his way to a nice game here, and the ball was just left behind. And it appeared that he just ran into the back of Harvey Salem, and the ball just fell on the turf, and Dolman was there for the recovery.
Merriweather had his arms around him, and Dolman with the recovery. Now look how Minnesota has done. They've scored following 9 of 13 of their opponent's turnovers this year. They have the ball on the Lions 17. Herschel Walker fights his way to the 10 and is knocked down.
There's a fumble, but the Vikings got it. Anthony Carter came in on it. This would have been a big play for the Lions if they could have recovered this one, but Walker fumbles the ball forward as he's hit right there by Spielman's right hand, and there's Anthony Carter. Johnny on the spot.
Second down and 2. Now Walker goes in motion. Benny gets close to first down yardage. He had to get to the 7-yard line for the first down. It is a first down for Minnesota. Now it's 9 consecutive quarters that the Lions have not scored. But that mark is in jeopardy right now. 2 tight end alignment for the Vikings. First and goal at the 6. Alfred Anderson picks up a yard, a little more. William White coming in from his free safety position, and it's second and goal.
Interesting play selection from Bob Schnelker. The last 2 plays, Herschel Walker fumbles on the first play after the turnover, and then he doesn't see the ball the next 2 plays. 2 straight dives to the fullback, first to Finney and then to Anderson. Didn't get much.
By the way, if Kramer were not to be effective today, the Vikings would use Wade Wilson, who had a fractured knuckle in his left hand. He's all right and well enough to play if Kramer doesn't do the job. So far, he's done it. Kramer looking to throw. Hassan Jones, the intended receiver. Pass was too high, covered by Terry Taylor.
Wonderful coverage for the Lions defensive backs, but you got to worry about the time that Kramer had to look over the field that time. No pressure at all on him as he could survey the entire corner of the end zone where the Vikings had 3 receivers.
It would be hard in some view to say this may be a big play early in the second quarter, but it is, because if the Lions can stop the Vikings from getting a touchdown, 9-0 doesn't look all that bad, considering. 4 wide receivers. Inside handoff to Finney, and he stopped short of the goal line at the 1. And it was Eric Williams who made the big play.
Take a look at this draw play to Finney from Kramer, and he comes up just a little bit shy. He's got his head down and his momentum going forward, but somebody in the middle of that line made a nice play to stop him right around the ankles.
It is 4th down, and Bob Stelker will go for the touchdown. It is 4th and goal at the 1. 3 tight ends, including David Huffman as a tackle eligible. 4 tight ends, in fact. Herschel Walker gets in for the score. And his first touchdown in the Minnesota uniform.
You just had to know Herschel was going to get this ball on the straight blast play. Watch how he fakes going up high as the Lions linebackers, Jones and Spielman, were anticipating a leap, and he stayed low, took the low road, and he got to the end zone before you. Good job of that offensive line, too. Look at the penetration there. Not much for the Lions.
So now Carlos with Scribner holding, looking to add the 13th point. And he does. So finally, the Lions give up a touchdown after 9 quarters. And it's 13-0 now in favor of the Vikings. Walker making his presence felt again in his second game in a Viking uniform. Scored a touchdown, 47 yards. Minnesota has had a couple of good drives, 2 Carlos field goals, and it's 13-0. And you wonder what Detroit's going to have to do to get back. They have not had any kind of offense thus far.
Well, you don't have to worry about them going to a speed-up offense or going with 4 wide receivers. They do that all the time. The big play, though, they cannot afford any more turnovers the rest of this day. That fumble by Barry Sanders put the Vikings in just great shape, and they went in for the easy touchdown.
And the first touchdown, of course, allowed by the Detroit Lions in 9 quarters. Can't allow too many more, but the Vikings right now with a 13-0 lead. Barry Sanders goes deep. Rich Carlos to kick off. Deep into the end zone, and that'll be down by Sanders for a touchback. And the Lions will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Washington, with the benefit of a safety, coming back against Tampa Bay. Green Bay cutting the Miami lead. Buffalo over the Jets. That was a big win by Buffalo against the Rams.
They seem to have got it going now, even without Jim Kelly.
AFC scores. Big one in Philadelphia between the Raiders and the Eagles. Kansas City leading winless Dallas. First down at the 20 for the Lions, who have yet to get into Viking territory. Rodney Peete, Richard Johnson puts on the burners, and he's pushed out of bounds. Actually stepped out at the 39-yard line in a gain of 19. Audrey McMillan made the push.
Johnson is number 84 in motion here, and he's going to run a simple flat pattern. Nice move there against McMillan, number 26, and he's down the sidelines. He should have better field awareness here, though. He steps out of bounds before contact is made. You've got to get as much yards as possible and have the defense force you out of bounds.
Nonetheless, it's the biggest gain of the game for the Lions. They're up to their own 39-yard line with nearly 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Ball 12 in Minnesota to this point. Rodney Peete drills it. And the pass is caught by Walter Stanley. It'll be another first down. See if there's a late hit there. Darrell Smith made the defensive play and a gain that time of 13.
Well, there was a late hit there. You saw it. 45,000 people saw it. But the two men that count, these guys in the striped shirts, don't quite see it. This is excellent protection for Peete, the best of the day so far. He gets the ball out here to Stanley. The referees are looking to where to mark this ball out of bounds, and they don't see that takedown.
Doug Martin, the veteran who is coming back this game after knee surgery last December, has replaced Al Noga, defensive end for the Vikings. At the top of your picture, first down, Lions. And the pass again to Walter Stanley. He got it, held onto it, and a completion inside the 34. Darrell Smith with a tough hit and another gain of 13 yards.
Well, this is 3 straight completions for Rodney Peete, and he appears to be gaining confidence. You saw earlier in the game he was just missing his receivers. Now he looks a little bit cooler. He's getting into a nice rhythm.
Walter Stanley, who's the best of a group that could be improved upon, according to Wayne Fonts. You've got to have good receivers to make the stretch offense work.
Well, what Stanley is he's a veteran of the National Football League. A lot of these other guys came from that USFL deal, and this guy's been around. He knows these Vikings very well.
Barry Sanders hit immediately and will lose yardage. Henry Thomas and Keith Millard welcomed him.
Now, one play that we haven't seen from the Lions yet today is their little screen pass that was so effective the first time these two teams played. That good pressure there against Sanders and stopping him for a loss, I would expect to see a screen real soon.
Viking defense coming in #1 in the NFL. Second down and 12 for the Lions. They're on the Vikings 36. Their first foray into Minnesota territory today. One of the worst-looking draw plays because the Vikings got into the backfield in a hurry thanks to Henry Thomas. And another Lion loss back to the 41, 4 yards.
Well, we talked about how solid this fellow Henry Thomas is. Let's check him out here as he is in the backfield beating Kevin Glover right now. And he almost took the handoff from Peete instead of Barry Sanders. Wow.
Sanders is saying it was never like this at Oklahoma State. Lloyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. Extra defensive backs for the Vikes on 3rd and 16. Rodney Peete and Richard Johnson is unable to hold on to it, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, this is something that Wayne Fonts has seen too much of this year, his wide receivers dropping passes. Questionable whether Johnson would have been able to pick up the first down, but it would have at least maybe put Eddie Murray into field goal range. As it is, Arnold's on for a punt.
Back is Leo Lewis. High kick and sailing into the end zone for a touchback. A 40-yard kick by Jim Arnold. He and Murray have been around for ages for the Lions, doing a good job at that. Timeout here at the Silverdome. Minnesota 13, Detroit nothing. 8:06 remaining in the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts here in a Central Division battle. Vikings have the ball first down on their 20. A mix-up. And Kramer is sacked for the first time. Eric Williams and Kevin Brooks, the defensive ends.
Well, we talked with Herschel Walker about how much of the offense he felt comfortable with. He said he felt pretty much 100% comfortable with the run offense. That time, he either missed an audible at the line of scrimmage, or he went obviously the wrong way. This is a problem that the Vikings have to overcome. Although a player may say he knows all the offense, whether he does it on the field or not is another matter.
Second down. Kramer Kramer swings it out to Walker. And a good tackle that time by George Jameson. And Walker is down at the 23-yard line. Will bring up 3rd and long.
Right, you saw Spielman also in on that tackle, and he had an interesting comment about Herschel Walker. He says, yeah, I've seen him on television, and I've seen him do great things, but I've never played against him. He's never done any of those great things against me or any team I've played on. He's got to prove to me that he's a great player. That's Chris Spielman's mindset.
Yeah, his comes from the school of let's just line up and see who's better.
Let's tee it up.
3rd down and 7. Anthony Carter to the bottom of your picture. But this pass is in the hands of Leo Lewis. And the Vikings have a 1st down beyond the 40-yard line. Crockett and White make the stop, but a gain of 19 to Lewis.
Lewis gets wide open on a little crossing pattern here. And the Vikings recognize the man-to-man coverage there, and Kramer goes to the right guy as Lewis just beat Crockett badly.
3 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown this season coming in. 1st down, Minnesota. And here's Carter. Anthony Carter loses his helmet, holds onto the ball, and a gain of 16 into Lion territory. William White makes the stop on that slant-in pattern again.
Well, we had a question about Carter going over the middle and catching a high pass. Well, this is his answer. Yes, sir, I'm going to catch this ball. Reaches up, makes a nice grab. But one thing he's got to do is he's got to tighten the lug nuts on his helmet. He's flying off of there too easily.
That's his first catch of the game.
Yeah, see, he's checking those lug nuts there.
At the 42 of the Lions. Herschel Walker had no room outside, went inside, and didn't meet with much success there. And a gain of about a yard, met by Chris Spielman and Eric Williams.
Boy, the Vikings are playing with a lot of confidence now. They're running the ball effectively. Kramer is reading the defense, going to the proper man. His offensive line is really setting the tempo. Nobody's gotten close to Kramer yet in the pocket.
Curtis Green has come in for the Lions as a defensive end. He's a good pass rusher. 2nd down and 8. Minnesota. And Kramer didn't see it. A blindside sack by the outside linebacker, George Jameson, and a loss of 8 yards.
Yeah, no, we talked about Herschel Walker. This is Jameson here. Herschel Walker's out of the picture, but he's got to block this man here as he comes on the blitz. You see Herschel go right by him there, looking back, and Kramer pays for it. Again, he says he's comfortable with the offense, but we've seen 2 plays now where he's made mistakes that may have cost the Vikings. That one could have hurt Kramer severely, but he looks in good shape.
First sack of the game by the Lions. Kramer getting pressure again. Dumps it off to Alfred Anderson. But Benny Blades won't let him get away. And he makes the tackle, bringing up 4th down and long.
Very conservative call from the Vikings that time. A screen pass on 3rd and about 15. Very difficult for a fellow like Alfred Anderson to pick up the 1st down.
Bucky Scribner, who had come under a lot of heat for the Vikings for his punting last week, answered with an average of over 50. Will kick for the first time. Walter Stanley goes back deep for the Lions. And it goes to the far side and goes out of bounds. A fine kick by Scribner. It is out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. A 40-yard kick. And for the first time today, the Minnesota Vikings failed to score on a possession. in Pontiac, and a great kick by Scribner. They've been having problems.
Well, you know, we talked about Merriweather and Walker being the missing links, but the kicking game may be the missing link for this ball club. You've got to have solid punting and field goal kicking. Today they're getting it.
First down for the Lions, backed up on their 6-yard line. Sanders looking for room. He's got some. And a gain of 20 yards for Barry Sanders. No good, McMillan.
Now this is just what the doctor ordered for the Lions coming off their goal line here. Watch Andolsek and Dallafleur out in front. Dallafleur played in San Diego with me, and we called him the Diesel. This gives you an idea why. Big, slow guy, but he's out in front of Barry Sanders there for a big game. Nice job, Diesel.
Diesel Dallafleur. And Speedy Sanders.
Yeah.
First down on the 27 of the Lions. Again, Sanders. And great hustle by Darrell Smith, and a fumble. Penalty marker down, and Joey Browner runs it in. But let's wait. A penalty marker was thrown at about the 25-yard line.
And I think they grabbed his face mask before the fumble. And this will come back. Big break for the Lions.
Big one, yep. Matt Haggerty. That's the call, Dan.
Okay, watch the Lions here. They're going to run a little counter play here and get Sanders out wide. Little jab step, and this is a counter gap you see a lot of teams running. The two guards are out in front, Dallafleur and Andolsek. But here's the face mask penalty from Darrell Smith, excuse me.
That's twice the Vikings have run balls into the end zone thinking they had scored.
Face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty.
Al Loga and now Jerry Burns pleading their case, but not much to it.
They may be pleading for a lesser penalty, a lesser sentence here, maybe a 5-yard penalty instead of 15, but it's going to be a 15-yarder. And this, again, is a real big play for the Lions. It gets them up to midfield.
Face mask, defense, first down, 15-yard penalty.
Well, the Vikings have dominated this game with some good drives and tough defense. The Lions have only shown some flashes of an attack. They have the ball on their own 43, first down. Rodney Peete on the run. He was going for Walter Stanley. It'll be second down.
Just get a feeling from Rodney Peete watching his reaction after that play that he's not quite where he wants to be. Had a bit of a slow start last week against Tampa Bay. Turned it all on and got it all going together at the right time, though, for that winning drive. But just right now, he's feeling a little bit of pressure. It's tough playing against the top defense in the NFL.
Ask Eric Hipple. 2 weeks ago, he was really under fire.
Yes, he was.
Second down and 10. And Peete pitches out to Sanders. Sanders barely gets into Viking territory. They're short of a first down by about 3 yards. Stop is made by Darrell Smith, and the 2-minute warning has arrived. So an opportunity for Wayne Fox and his offensive team to talk about a big third down play coming up with 2 minutes to go in the half.
Keith Millard here. He's going to take an inside route as Peete is running the option play here. And he almost gets Peete in the backfield with his right hand. But now, as you see, Peete breaks free there. He pitched this ball to Barry Sanders too soon. On the option play, you're not supposed to pitch it until you're attacked by the defense. Perhaps if they carried the ball down the field a little bit farther, we might have had what might look like a rugby play.
Third down and 3 at midfield for the Lions with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Peete and Richard Johnson. They first down. Carl Lee on the stop. Johnson has dropped a few this season and today, but he made a tough catch right there, Dave.
Okay, we talked about Millard. Now he's playing over the center, Kevin Glover here, and getting double teamed from Eric Andelsek as you see the pass to Richard Johnson for the first down, but it's going to be tough for Millard all day long.
On the 45 of the Vikings, first down. Pete going deep. It was intended for Robert Clark, and defending was Reggie Rutland. And that'll bring up second down, and we got a glimpse of the zip of the throwing arm of Rodney Peete on that pass.
Well, I've never felt that he had any arm strength problem. He throws with wonderful mechanics, and that's the key. He has a good delivery. The ball, as you said, has a lot of zip on it. He's a very fluid quarterback in the pocket. I never saw that bad rap against him.
Lloyd Peters, by the way, in talking about Pete, says he's like an extra halfback in the backfield. We haven't seen Rodney run yet. We almost did on that previous play. Second down. Pete, wide open. Johnson, and he may have the first down. Mike Merriweather and Mark Dusbavic making the tackle. It is a first down as the clock continues to run.
Good job by Johnson, getting the ball in his hands and getting that first down.
This is the deepest penetration for Detroit today. And Rodney Peete will run. Catching up to him was Dusbavic. Made a good play, and now the Lions will call a timeout. That will leave them with one timeout remaining here in the first half. 44 seconds to go. Wayne Fontes has just seen his defensive team on the field, looking to get something going before the end of this game.
Well, the really important thing now for Rodney Peete as he comes over to talk to Mouse Davis there in the white sweater and Wayne Fontes is, hey, listen, let's come away with this with at least 3 points. So let's not take a sack and push Eddie Murray out of field goal range. Okay, that said, this is what play we're going to run. These are your reads.
Lions did get close to field goal range earlier in one of their possessions, but then they were knocked back on a couple of downs, and Murray never got a chance to try a field goal.
Lloyd Peters trying to get the signals out to his defensive group there. I think what he's saying is, get Rodney Peete, tackle him.
I want to know why he's wearing dark glasses in here at the Silverdome. Jason Phillips is in at wide receiver, number 24. On second and 9, Peete. And Robert Clark makes the reception just outside the 15. 17-yard gain, and the clock continues to run. Reggie Rutland made the stop. And now a timeout is called. The Lions have used their last timeout of the first half. They are at the 17-yard line of the Vikings, trailing 13-0, and no more timeouts.
One thing that Rodney will learn as a quarterback in this league is after you have a long pass reception with the clock running, it's very difficult to get all your guys back on the line of scrimmage and call a play to kill the clock with an incomplete pass. Go ahead and use that last timeout. We're now in field goal range. We can throw a couple of balls in the end zone for the touchdown, but at least we're going to come out of it with points. The most important thing here is not the clock now, it's points, and the Lions are in good shape. But that was great coverage by Reggie Rutland as Peete just barely got the ball in to Robert Clark.
Well, Pete has his instructions. Got a first down.
You wonder who he'll go to, and in talking to him yesterday, he says he has the most confidence in Robert Clark, and you saw with that catch why Robert Clark has the confidence.
On first down, Pete has Clark. There's your guy, out of bounds at the 5. And it'll be, I believe, another first down. Reggie Rutland on the stop. It'll be first and goal.
Well, you'll notice what Rodney Peete is doing. He's drifting on his little sprint out to the right. That's forcing the underneath coverage to go that way. You see number 39 there, Carl Lee, was faked by Pete to the middle of the field. That opened up the throwing lane to the outside to Robert Clark in a big play.
You said he was his favorite, and he went to him twice on this drive. First and goal at the 5. Pete will run it. And he flipped it into the end zone, and I'm not sure if he went past the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball.
Well, he was definitely over the line of scrimmage, and now comes the flag. None of the officials saw it at the time, but they're calling the penalty right now. I've never seen anything like that before.
I thought he was going to run in, and I thought he had room at least to get to the 1 or 2.
Well, he saw one of those old USC Trojans, Joey Browner, staring him in the face. This is a very unusual call. It was clearly that he was over the line of scrimmage when he dumps the ball. The line of scrimmage is the 5-yard line, but there are no officials near the 5-yard line to make the call as the penalty happens. There's the 5-yard line. He's clearly over it, but you don't see any penalty until a good 30 or 40 seconds later.
You know, you're right. Browner was there, but the worst Browner could have done to him was knock him out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Or broke his shoulder.
Well, that is worse. The Vikings want a timeout. It looked like Jerry Burns was signaling for one. So Minnesota will use its second timeout of the first half in a very bizarre final 30 seconds with 14 remaining. 14 ticks of the clock. It'll be second down and goal, and the ball now back to the 8.
The advantage that Rodney Peete has in this offense is one of the most difficult segments of a game for a quarterback to learn is the hurry-up offense. Well, with this run and shoot, it's a hurry-up offense all the time. And what you're seeing this week now at the end of this first half and last week when Peete took his ball club down to beat Tampa Bay, you're seeing Rodney Peete's development as a quarterback.
And of course, people say that the run and shoot gets less effective as you get closer to the goal line.
Well, it does, because the defense has less field lengthwise to cover. They can put more people in more zones and crowd that field. But Rodney Peete, as we said, is like another halfback in that backfield. He has the ability to run the ball, but also to buy a lot of time as he's out there looking for a receiver.
Second and goal at the 8-yard line. No timeouts left for Detroit. Pete fires, knocked down, and a flag is down as well. Richard Johnson was hit by Carl Lee at the goal line.
Pass interference, number 39 in the end zone.
Big break for Detroit.
On the 1.
Oh, Rodney Peete has all day in the world to throw this pass, and you'll see he could have run it, but there are a lot of Vikings standing on that goal line. And we'll take a look at this from the end zone to see as Carl Lee comes over the top a little bit too soon and breaks up that pass.
First and goal at the 1 with 8 seconds remaining in the first half. Pete loses the ball. I believe the Vikings have it. Mike Merriweather recovers for Minnesota. And the Vikings have held against Detroit's thrust right here.
Well, you talked about how the Silver Stretch offense has trouble down here. 1 yard away from an end zone, and they're not going to run the ball. They're going to try and throw it. Merriweather comes on the blitz and makes the big play for the Vikings. But you've got Barry Sanders in the backfield there. You would think that they'd find some way of getting him the ball and letting him run it in for the touchdown. Perhaps they're feeling, though, that with only 8 seconds to go when they snap the ball, that if they throw one, if it's incomplete, they'd line up and kick the field goal. As it is, they get nothing.
The Lions lead the league in turnovers inside the 20, and the first half is over, and Wayne Fonts is a distressed head coach. That is the end of the first half with the score. The Vikings 13 and the Lions nothing.
Conventional new spirit of Dodge. Norelco lift and cut shavers we made close, comfortable. and by Diet Coke, just for the taste of it, with 100% NutraSweet.
Herschel Walker is something. If they get to the Super Bowl, like Irv says, it's going to be worth it. Let's check some of the other games around the league. The Washington Redskins moments ago put a touchdown on the board on a pass by Mark Rypien. We'll show it to you. It is 12-7. The Redskins lead. It was a special team of the Bucs, sir.
Big play by the special teams here, blocking a punt. Ricky Reynolds picks this one right off the kicker's foot, picks it up and rambles 33 yards for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And right away, Brent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers set the tone of this game. Aggressive football.
And Dexter Manley coming through with a sack in the end zone of Vinny Testaverde for the safety. Now, Mark Rypien has been sacked only 6 times this year, but each of the 6 times he has fumbled, like right there. But then moments ago, he was able to come back for the Skins, and he finds Clark open by moving his pocket more or less to the right. Actually, he moved it all alone, rolling out over there. Hit him, and the extra point is good, and now the Skins lead it 12-7. All right, Minnesota and Detroit. This is the one you're watching. All Vikings so far. 13-0 over the line. Now, let's take a close look at this play, and I'll ask Irv whether or not he thinks this is not a dirty hit by Chris Thielman. I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but Anthony Carter appears to be down on the second hit, and Ohio State met up with Michigan again, and that helmet went rolling. Herschel Walker took charge, 35 yards, number 34 goes. That set up a field goal. Barry Sanders fumbled, and Herschel took it in from the 1-yard line for the touchdown. What about the hit by Spielman, Irv?
I thought it was clean, Brent. Spielman was simply following the play, came across and hit him. There wasn't any penalty called. You know, no problem.
All right, now Green Bay and Miami, and the Packers staying close. It is 10-6. The Dolphins and Dan Marino, and in the win, Marino throwing this touchdown pass to Jim Jensen. That wind is gusting at 15 to 20 miles an hour. You remember Elijah Pitts with the Green Bay Packers? Here's his son, Ron Pitts, with his interception, going 37 yards to the Dolphin 42-yard line, and the Packers hanging tough in that one. AFC now. Buffalo leading the Jets. They've held the Jets to 1 first down. Cincinnati, 3 field goals. They lead the Colts 9-3. Houston, 2 Warren Moon touchdown passes in that game. Raiders in Philadelphia, absolutely no offense in that one. Dallas and Kansas City, some big plays in this game. 24-14. Watch Paul Palmer. Kevin Porter gets greedy. Number 27 tried to strip him of the ball instead of going for the tackle. And Palmer is loose for 63 yards. What about Christian Okoye, Irv?
Boy, a real big power back inside. Palmer used to be the property of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's happy to have scored against his old team. Christian Okoye takes the ball this time from Kansas City and rambles up the middle for a 13-yard touchdown. This guy's quite a load, Brent.
And James Dixon with a fabulous return.
Dixon is a Houston Cougar. We were talking about them earlier today. The fact that this college team almost scored 100 points last night. Well, James Dixon puts on the speed here, goes 97 yards for the Cowboys. And boy, I tell you, Dallas looks like a much improved football team.
And we get word that Christian Okoye has sprained an ankle, not serious, expected to return. And we'll continue after these messages. One step further.
In the NFL, a team can only go as far as its quarterback can take it. And this year's crop of field generals is among the finest ever assembled. While each shines in his own special way, we wonder what it would be like if we could create the perfect quarterback. The Robo QB. Since it's a passing game, we'll start with a strong arm, Dan Marino's. Playing like a man with a porpoise, Dolphin Dan dazzles defenders with deadly downfield darts, with the quickest release since Joe Namath. Even collies can see that Marino is a top gun in the league.
I think if you wanted to go with an accurate arm, you'd like a guy like Marino.
Well, Randall, don't be too jealous. The good news is that the rest of the fellows covet your legs. And why not? If they could run like you can, they wouldn't have to hide. In fact, when it comes to daring feat, you win head over heels.
Probably Randall Cunningham's legs and head. I'd use my own head. I'd want to look like myself.
Well, we could call it Kramer versus Kramer, but hey, sorry, Tommy. Our cerebral selection is Joe Montana. He can beat you every which way, on the ground and in the air. Down the stretch, the proof is in the pudding. In this case, the rice pudding. Yes, sir, the thinking man's quarterback.
I think the one thing that helps you is being able to a quick release, but more importantly probably in that is being able to make the read quick and know where you're going with the ball.
But there's more to Robo QB than mere brains and brawn. Phil Simms would provide the heart. Time after time, Simms takes a licking but keeps on flicking. He has made a career of being down but not out, and his opponents have certainly gotten their fill of his game-winning heroics. We'll let Simms be our designated gut checker. In this game, you've got to have heart, and we'll take Simms. Then there are the intangibles. Some say John Elway is close to being a robo-QB, but poise is what sets him apart. Even when he's improvising, he has the presence of mind to direct his blockers downfield, and he can calculate on the run the best path to pay dirt. The other intangible is leadership. We'll give the nod to Boomer Esiason. When the Bengal southpaw takes control, his teammates snap into line. But every quarterback needs a context in which to operate. Detroit's silver stretch is an offense conceived of mouse and men. And then there are those who prefer to run and shoot on their own.
I'm not going to take any parts from anybody. I mean, I figure I'm build a one all-time quarterback. I don't know. That's hard to say, but I just have to work, concentrate on myself right now.
Irv, who's your best of all time, best head?
Well, you know, there have been great quarterbacks in the National Football League, we all know that, but I would take Norm Van Brocklin for the all-time best head in pro football.
Yeah, you couldn't go wrong with him. And right now, let's send you back to the stadium in a game you're watching here on CBS.
Back here at the Silverdome, where the Minnesota Vikings lead the Lions 13-0, and CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word. Vikings spinning the shutout 13-0 at halftime. Lions have had their opportunity. Talk about Rodney Peete and Barry Sanders, Dan Fouts, two great rookies. Sanders' fumble caused a Viking touchdown, and Pete's fumble prevented a Lion touchdown there in a weird first-half finish.
Well, that's really what Dwayne Fonts wanted to cut out, is the turnovers. And the Vikings have always been famous for it, but really on this first play,